can join. So just to get started, until I turn on interpretation, you will not see the globe that you see right now on your screen. Until I turn that on, you won't see that. But once I do turn that on, you're going to click on the globe and you're going to choose the language in which you would like to hear the presentation in. Even if you hear me in English and you would like to hear the presentation in English, you will still need to click on English. And obviously, if you'd like to hear it in Spanish, you could click on Spanish. This is what it looks like if you're on a PC. This is what it looks like if you're on a mobile device. So if you are on a mobile device, you'll click on More, and there will be a drop down, and you'll choose Language Interpretation. And again, please choose either English or Spanish. I'm now going to turn it over to our interpreter, Magda, so she can let our Spanish-speaking providers know.
Thank you, Jen. Bienvenidos todos. En esta oportunidad, como decía Jen, vamos a tener disponible interpretación en español, así es que si quieren escuchar esta reunión en ese idioma, tiene que esperar a que los hosts, en este caso Jen, habilite el canal de español una vez que yo termine de dar este mensaje. Si usted se está conectando desde una computadora, va a haber un menú en la parte de abajo donde hay un icono de un globo. Selecciónelo y eso le va a permitir elegir el idioma que sea de su preferencia. Y si es que está desde un teléfono celular, en la esquina inferior derecha de su pantalla va a haber 3 puntitos y cuando los apriete va a haber una lista. Entre las opciones va a aparecer interpretación de idiomas. Apriete eso y seleccione el idioma que sea de su preferencia. Le recordamos que si usted habla inglés también, escoja el inglés como su idioma, porque si no, no va a poder escuchar a los intérpretes cuando estén interpretando a quienes no hablan en inglés. Y le recordamos que por favor hable a un ritmo pausado para que el intérprete pueda capturar su mensaje lo mejor posible. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Back to you, Jen.
Great, thank you, Magda. All right, let's get ready to turn on interpretation. So bear with me for just a second. I'm going to turn this on, and once you see the globe, please choose the language in which you would like to view the presentation in, either English or Spanish. All right, so we should be good to go. Okay, thank you all so much. I would like to welcome you here this evening to Assessing Your Business. And this is about how business assessments can lead to resilient childcare programs. This is a new presentation for Georgia, so I'm really excited that you're here with us this evening. There's a lot of good information. I will tell you that a lot of content. So, just sit back, take it all in. I'll do my best to speak a little slowly and make sure that you have the opportunity to really understand what it is that we're talking about this evening. So my name is Jen Vale. I am the Director of Professional Learning with Civitas Strategies. I am joined here tonight by my coworker, Margaret Vivian, and our interpreter, Magda. Throughout the evening, if you have any questions, what we're going to do is a Q&A at the end of the presentation, but feel free to put questions in the chat at any time, and we're going to try to end early enough that we can answer any questions anyone has. But I'm also really interested if any of you are currently doing business assessments, if this is familiar to you, by all means, please feel free to share your experiences when we get to the question and answer portion. So thanks so much. So as childcare providers, you obviously play a really vital role in your communities. You support families, you nurture young children. Your business success directly impacts the quality of care that you provide, affects the families that you serve. And that's why understanding how to assess and strengthen your business is so crucial. It's a really important topic for us to speak about this evening. Now, before we get started, let me just read our disclaimer that the information contained here has been prepared by Civitas Strategies and is not intended to constitute legal, tax, or financial advice. The Civitas Strategies team has used reasonable efforts in collecting, preparing, and providing this information, but does not guarantee its accuracy, completeness, adequacy, or currency. The publication and distribution of this information is not intended to create, and receipt does not constitute, an attorney-client, or any other advisory relationship. Reproduction of this information is expressly prohibited, and only non-commercial uses of this work are permitted. All right, so today's conversation, over the next hour, we're going to explore 4 main areas that are essential to assessing your business, building your business, and maintaining a resilient childcare business. So the first thing we're going to do is cover the fundamentals of business resiliency and the basics of assessments, because I want you to understand what makes a business strong and why regular assessment matters. Then we're going to dive into the essential questions for evaluating your finances, from setting goals and managing your cash flow to analyzing rates and building emergency funds. Then we're going to think about questions that help you examine and consider areas surrounding your operations, right? So we want you to look at everything from your facility needs and staff retention to documentation and technology use. And then finally, we're going to discuss some strategies for strengthening your business, including how to analyze your current position and create actionable plans for improvement. So keep in mind, we will have time to answer questions at the end. Feel free to put them in the chat. There's a lot of content here today, and we will do our best to make sure that it's all available to you. So we'll do that there. So a resilient business, right? Understanding resiliency, understanding assessment. A resilient business has the ability to adapt and thrive in the face of change. There's part of the definition of resiliency. I want you to think about resiliency as being able to stay strong while navigating challenges and opportunities, right? So for childcare programs like yours, this means maintaining high quality of care and reliable service to families even during periods of change. And of course, resilient businesses also are financially successful, right? So you're caring for families, you are meeting their needs, and you have a financially successful business. So that's what resiliency means there. So we're going to look at some key areas where your business needs to be adaptable to stay strong and resilient, excuse me. So in order to be resilient, a business must be adaptable to economic changes. Every business, right, faces economic ups and downs, but the key is having strategies to be ready for both of those scenarios. So how would your program adjust during economic downturn? What opportunities could you seize during growth periods, right? So we want to think about both of those. Strong financial management, from maintaining a healthy cash flow, you'll hear me say that more than once, to building emergency funds, that helps your program stay stable through all of those economic fluctuations. Next are industry changes, right? Changes in the business landscape. Our field is constantly evolving, right? There's new early childhood research, and they're always changing family needs. And successful childcare programs stay informed about all of the developments in their local community and the broader childcare landscape. So this might mean that you adopt new technologies, you adjust your curriculum, and you modify your services to meet those evolving family preferences. So I want to take that into consideration. Now, personnel changes, you have to be adaptable to this, right? Your team is the heart of your program, and having robust HR policies and maintaining appropriate staffing levels are essential elements to a resilient business. So when you have clear procedures in place, you can handle staff transitions smoothly if there are any. You can address any skill gaps that arise within your team. And by doing so, you can ensure consistent quality care for the children in your program. Now, 2 fundamental elements must be present for true business resilience. And one is you always have to have a commitment to success. All right, so your program needs a clear vision and well-defined goals, and these guide your decision making and they shape your strategies. So I want you to think of this commitment as your program's compass, right? It helps you stay on course while you're navigating changes. So when you have strong systems and documentation in place and processes, things like great parent handbooks, emergency procedures, you're better equipped to maintain consistent quality throughout any transition, right? And then there is always needs to be a focus on longevity, all right? Quick wins are satisfying, there's no doubt about it, but sustainable success requires a longer view. We have to think farther out into the future. We want to think about how today's decisions impact the program's future, and by building strong relationships with family and staff, you would do so by maintaining open communication, fostering a sense of community, right? That all contributes to your program's long-term stability. So resilience in childcare does mean more than just surviving challenges. It's about emerging stronger and continuing to provide excellent care for the families who depend on you. A truly resilient childcare program combines adaptability with a strong commitment to your mission and a focus on long-term success. So that's a great definition of a resilient childcare program. Adaptability with a commitment to your mission and a focus on long-term success. Now, as we move forward, I would really like you to consider your own program's resilience, right? So which of these areas, as we discuss them, what feel the strongest for you? Where could there potentially be some room for growth? Now, understanding these aspects of resilience will help guide your business assessment and improvement efforts, right? So I want you to think as we go through here, see what you can relate to, see what actually happens in your own business, what is familiar to you. Perhaps they are some really great positives. Maybe there are some challenges. So I'd like you to just kind of keep an eye on that. All right. So a resilient childcare program, it thrives on a combination of strategic planning, a lot of strategic planning, and also thoughtful implementation, right? We really need to think this out. These are 8 key strategies that successful programs can use to maintain their strength and their quality over time. I said I was going to come back to this again. I was going to mention it again. Cash flow management. So the foundation of any strong business is healthy cash flow. So for your childcare program, this means to carefully monitor your income and your expenses. A regular financial review helps you make informed decisions about everything from purchasing to staffing levels. Consider developing seasonal forecasts, right? To prepare for all of the enrollment fluctuations, to plan for future improvements to your facility. Remember, usually when we look at cash flows, we're looking at them usually in about a 6-month window. Sometimes if we go beyond 6 months, it's a little hard to plan for that. But you always want to have a cash flow that you're constantly revisiting, updating, really having that cash flow be the most accurate picture of your predictions for the future for your business. So after that, what we want to make sure is that you are diversifying your revenue. What does that mean? We want you to build multiple revenue streams to help protect your business's financial stability. So think beyond traditional tuition fees, right? What else could you do? You can do government grants and subsidies, local and state funding. You can form corporate partnerships with businesses for childcare. You can offer additional services that meet family needs. So I would love for you to start thinking about, hey, a resilient business has different streams of revenue. What am I going to do to ensure that I have all of these different revenue streams that I'm diversified? Staff investment cannot be stressed enough. I've already mentioned it several times, right? So your teaching team, right, and anyone on your team, they are your most valuable assets. So we need to create an environment where they can thrive. And that is through competitive compensation and benefits, professional development, and opportunities for growth within your organization, recognition programs, maybe some flexible scheduling that support a work-life balance, right? We know that resilient businesses make investments in their staff. Now, resilient businesses also have excellent safety and family communication, right? So building trust with families, it requires outstanding safety practices and transparent communication with the families. So you want to make sure that you are establishing regular updates about children's development and about their activities, consistently reviewing and updating safety protocols and procedures, making sure that you have a really clear emergency response plan. And then think about multiple channels, different ways for families to give you feedback and to remain engaged with you and the program, right? That's important there. Then we can't do this at all without quality programming. So quality care sets your program apart. It builds long-term loyalty. So I'd like you to think about investing in research-based curriculum, ongoing staff training, age-appropriate materials and equipment, regular program evaluation and improvement. I know that the majority of people in this webinar today are like, we've got that down. And really think about how many of these key strategies you already do, because there definitely are going to be some that you're experts in. We need you to think about the adaptability and innovation, all right? So we need to stay responsive to changing family needs while maintaining your core mission. That would include perhaps flexible scheduling options, new program offerings based on what the community needs. You'll always be reviewing your policies and procedures, and you want to do ongoing professional development for you and your staff. Attending tonight is ongoing professional development. DECAL has many opportunities for professional development, so that's available to you there. Another strategy is to make sure that you have community engagement, right? So strong community connections, those enhance your program's resilience. You want to have partnerships with schools and businesses. You want to participate in professional organizations. You want to engage in community events, and you want to collaborate with other childcare providers. You know, come together, brainstorm, think about things like that. That's community engagement. And then finally, technology integration. It cannot be denied that integrating technology is a key resiliency strategy. And DECAL believes very strongly in the integration of technology. They've created a lot of ongoing training surrounding technology. So strategic use of technology can improve both efficiency and service. So we want you to think about opportunities to streamline your administrative tasks using technology, enhance parent communication, improve your record keeping, support classroom documentation, support assessment, and support the business assessments that we're going to talk about this evening. Technology can be used, as you know, in many, many different areas, right? So all of these strategies, they work together to create a very strong foundation for your program. Each one supports the other. That's a comprehensive approach to business resiliency. So if you concentrate on these 8 things, these are key strategies, right? So we know that we're heading in the direction of a resilient business there. I want you to think about your own program. You know, which of these areas offer the greatest opportunity to strengthen your services, right? Because if you strengthen your services, you become resilient. It basically ensures your sustainability. And that's what we're really always looking for, a sustainable business there. And these strategies don't have to happen all at once. So I don't want you to see these 8 and be overwhelmed, right? Identify 1 or 2 areas where you could make some small improvements. Small improvements can make significant impacts in these key strategies there. You build success in those strategies, just go and focus on the next couple, you know, so you can pick and choose. You don't have to do it all at one time there. So in thinking about it, please think about what area on this list could make the biggest difference for your program right now, right? Because whatever that answer is, it's going to guide you in the next steps that you're going to take towards building a resilient business. All right, so here's where assessment comes into play, all right? So regular business assessment of your program, it plays a crucial role in building and maintaining business resiliency. So when you do an assessment is a systematic evaluation, all right? And by doing that, you gain the ability to identify your program's strengths, and you get to leverage those for continued success, right? So we identify our strengths and we continue to build on them, and our program is successful because of those strengths. But at the same time, that assessment will help you spot potential weaknesses, and that's before they develop into significant problems, right? That lets you act proactively, and it lets you come up with solutions, these proactive solutions rather than reactive responses. So assessment is great that way. Assessment will always strengthen your program's resilience by providing you with clear insights so that you can make very informed decisions. When you understand your current position, your business as it stands, you can allocate resources more effectively, and you can manage risks with greater confidence, okay? And that knowledge enables you to adapt very quickly to changing market conditions, while all the while maintaining this high quality of care. So assessments can do all of this, all right? By doing these regular assessments, you create resiliency because you're thinking about continuous improvement, right? You're consistently evaluating your processes, your finances, your outcomes, and that allows you to develop the ability to adjust your strategies as needed. So flexibility ensures your program can navigate challenges, right? We want to take advantage of all the opportunities we have for new growth. We want to think about that. And most importantly, assessment helps maintain financial stability, and that's because it helps you monitor key metrics and trends, all right? So that ongoing awareness of those metrics and trends, it allows you to make the strategic adjustments that protect your program sustainability. So, we want you to continue to meet the needs of families, and we want you to continue to protect your business, maintain sustainability, continue to grow. So resilience isn't going to be built through a one-time evaluation, but or assessment, it is going to be built through ongoing commitments to assessment and improvement, all right? And programs that regularly do these assessments, assess their operations, they're better likely to adapt to the findings and to implement strategic changes that are best positioned so that the business is best positioned to thrive in any environment, right? So assessment creates resiliency. We want to think about that. So we know that it creates resiliency. What are some other benefits of doing an assessment? What can come out of this, right? So regular assessments basically give you those valuable insights that are going to strengthen your business. So there are some benefits, obviously, of doing an assessment, business assessment. So number one is identifying growth opportunities. Here's a benefit. Careful assessment of your program can reveal opportunities that you might otherwise miss. So you want to think about that. Next is strategic alignment. So assessment helps ensure that your daily operations align with your program's goals. You want to think about that. Risk identification. Proactive assessment helps you spot potential challenges before they become problems, right? So that's really key. Also very, very important is financial health evaluation, because understanding your financial position is crucial for long-term success. So we need to do that. In addition to financial health, we need to think about the efficiency of our operations, right? So when you do regular business assessment, it highlights ways to improve daily operations. Fantastic, right? We want all of that. See, boy, there's a lot of benefits to doing assessments. Assessments help with staff development because they ensure that you have the right team in place, that you can provide the support that they need, and in return, they can provide the care for the children that you obviously your program has come to be well known for. So, and then market position, because an assessment helps, a benefit of assessments is it helps you understand your place in the local child care community and the child care world, right? It allows you to think about where you fall in that landscape. So assessment isn't just a review. I don't want you to think about it as a review. I want you to think about assessments as really essential tools for building stronger, more sustainable programs. And by doing these regular assessments, you gain insights to make informed decisions, right, about your program's future, and you maintain high quality care for the children and the families that you serve there. And I don't want you to think that assessment is about finding fault. because it isn't, right? It's about discovering opportunities. We want to look at it from a really positive viewpoint there, right? Everything that you find out, whether it's positive or it's challenging, it's providing a very valuable look into your business that can help you enhance your program's quality and sustainability. So I want you to think about assessments positively, all right? And then as you assess your own business, I'd like you to think about which of these benefits would be most valuable for your current situation, all right? What specific aspects of your program would you like to understand better, right? These are the benefits. I hope that they start you thinking about what areas of the program, perhaps you've been so busy. We know you've been so busy. You're the busiest people on the face of the earth. It happens that then you don't get the chance to make these assessments. You don't carve out the time because you're so busy caring for the children. Really understanding, taking the time to do these assessments is very, very valuable for that evaluation of your current situation. And all of these benefits, right? Look at how the business can benefit from assessment. It's fantastic there. So we want to do an assessment, but in order to do one, we need to be prepared because we're going to get through an assessment, we're going to get a lot of answers. We're going to get a lot. Well, what we're going to get are actually yes or no answers that are going to basically inform the conversations we're going to have with ourselves, with our staff, with any business partners that we have about opportunities and challenges and things like that. So we have to be prepared in order to get the most value. You're going to spend time on this assessment. Let's make it worthwhile. So what you're going to want to do is set up a system to capture all of the information that you learn through your assessment, right? And really one of the best ways to do it is to set up a digital system. So you see here on the screen, we talk about opening accounts in Dropbox or Google Drive, and we're going to look at an example of a spreadsheet that could really work for you because we want to have secure storage. We want to have a place to put our findings that our assessment have revealed, right? Because we need them all in one place so that we can think about them, analyze, act on them. So that's what we're getting ready to do. So you can use Excel spreadsheets, you can use Google Sheets. We just want to create something that is basically a landing point for all of this information that we've now put together because we're taking this seriously. We're taking the time to do an assessment. We're going to capture everything and have it really well organized so that we can use it, right? We take the time to do this. Let's get results that we can use there. So, just make sure that the system that you have, that you have a secure storage if there's any sensitive business information. It's great if you can easily access it from any location. So if it is stored in a secure cloud offering, that lets you access it from whether you're home or in the office, wherever that may be there. It lets you share those documents with appropriate team members or any advisors. And what you'll always want to do, right, are automatic backups. So I want you to think about the ways in which you can save this information so it's not lost. So I want you to remember, okay, investing the time now in the preparation, it's going to streamline the assessment process and it leads to more meaningful results. Because the last thing we want is to put all this time into an assessment and then not be able to go back and evaluate what we found out, not be able to capture what we found out. Because what's also really nice is when you can do an assessment at one time period and really address it, make changes, things of that nature, then do the second assessment and see all of your successes to where you're actually able to answer yes to a lot of questions. So we want to be able to do, right, multiple assessments. We want to see the growth and the success. We need a place to put that information. So, all right, this is a simple spreadsheet, right? This is what we're talking about in terms of assessment. Basically identifying in a column what it is you're assessing. We have it here labeled as the assessment area. What's the current status when you do that assessment? The next column is very, very important, right? So basically, are we doing things when we want to be doing them? Are there things we do on a monthly basis? Are there things that need review? Think about the current status, where we are. Do we need to work on it? The next column, the response column, is really, really important in the fact that it's those no's, and we're going to look at some questions, all right? It's when you have no responses that you're identifying areas of opportunity and areas that your assessment, through your assessment, that the business can benefit from by addressing, right? And then after we get all of those no or yes responses and we record them, we're going to start to put things in priority order, right? What are our priorities? What's the first thing we should be looking at? And then what kind of actions do we need to take to basically get those to yes responses, right? Doing this assessment, what do we need to do next to be able to reach our goals and really put this assessment to work and make sure that it's helping us build this sustainable business that has resiliency, because that really is the key. All right. So when we look at these things, I would like you in the actions needed to also basically put in there an area for a timeline, right? So when are you thinking about doing this? And I also think that you could have a column here for who's responsible for that area of the assessment. Is it you? Is it a staff member? Who is it who's responsible for that particular area? So I would like to see two more columns here, right? A timeline so that we have a time that we're going to address it and who's responsible for that. So, and you'll update your document as you go through your assessment, and then you do the next assessment and you continue to update and you continue to compare and see those differences. So, well, how are we going to do the business assessment, right? Okay, we've been talking about it. What does it actually look like? All right. So there are 5 steps, five steps, not difficult at all. The first is gather your financial data. Okay, we're going to get as much information together as we need. We're going to do the assessment by answering questions. We're going to record those answers and we're going to review our results. We talked about priority. We're going to prioritize the areas that need improvement, and then we're going to create an action plan. So doing the business assessment, it's not difficult. It isn't just about the questions. There's a lot of things, right, that follow in terms of reviewing the results and prioritizing and then creating the action plan. So we won't go into great detail here, but obviously these are the types of financial documents that you would be putting together. In some of them financial, but you also see staffing data, right? We're talking about your payroll costs and things like that. If you have a marketing plan, any written processes, but also the things that you usually put together for your taxes, your previous tax returns, your budget, your cash flow, your financial statements. Get all of that together. If you're a new business, think about things like startup costs, and anything that you've needed to get together, plans to raise capital, whatever that may be. Let's get all of the documents that we need to give us a really good financial picture. Get all that together, and then we start to ask questions. We're going to look at some questions in a second. For each question, you want to provide an honest yes or no answer, right? You want to think about it, yes or no. We're going to record those, and then we can start to reflect on each answer, right? We can break it down and we can think about what we currently do. We can think about now what we're going to do differently. And you want to document your thoughts, your concerns. You don't want to start doing this assessment and then think, oh yeah, I should do this, I should do that, I wonder why, and not write that stuff down. And that's another great thing about the spreadsheet. Give yourself a column to record your thoughts, because again, busiest people on the face of the earth, you are going to forget things unless you're recording this as you go. So let's take a look at questions that can help you assess your business finances. And remember, right, we're looking for yes and no answers, okay? Because basically the financial portion of this, right, is a lot of the foundation of business resilience, without a doubt there. So I want you to stop and ask yourself, do you have important financial goals? Are they written down And do you have a time frame to achieve them? We want to think about that, financial goals. All right. Are you confident that your budget and your cash flow are correct? Are you updating them on a regular basis? You know, with your budget, you have to look at your actuals, you have to look at what's going on there. What does that look like? Do you have those diverse revenue streams that we talked about? Basically, getting revenue from many different sources there. Do you assess your rates? Do you monitor your enrollment? Almost all of you monitor your enrollment, but making sure that you are assessing both of these, very, very important there. We always want to know, are you paying yourself? Yes or no, right? Are you paying yourself there? Do you have emergency and reserve funds, financial funds that basically you can fall back on if you needed to? Are you prepared for tax season? I tell all of the childcare providers that I coach, tax preparation happens all year round, not just right before April 15th. And uh, there are recordings of the Georgia webinars that we held on tax preparation. You can find them on the Civitas Strategies YouTube channel. Tax preparation all year round, all right? And then I want you to think about, is my business adaptable to change? So business finances there. And then I want you to think about your business operations, okay? Do I have the right amount of liability and property insurance? Where am I with my staffing? Do I have adequate staffing? Do I have effective hiring practices, right? What do those look like there? Do you have emergency plans, and do you have succession planning for who comes next? Succession planning is about if a director or an owner were to move into, perhaps an owner sells the business, or I shouldn't say sells the business, but decides to retire, let's say, who's next, right? Who's going to step up and be next? What does succession look like? You want to think about that there. Just make sure that you have updated family and employee handbooks. Do we have those? What are our marketing strategies? Do we feel comfortable that our marketing strategies are efficient, right? Are we using technology efficiently? And do we have really effective record keeping and bookkeeping practices? Those are the questions, right? And you can see those are yes, no questions, right? Boom, boom, boom. Got our spreadsheet out. We ask ourselves the question. We record our honest answer. We think about any input that we want to, or any thoughts that we're having. We record those things, and then we're going to be able to build that spreadsheet out based on our yes and no responses. So we've done that. Okay, what are we doing next? Now, right, we put everything in that spreadsheet, and then I want you to go area by area, question by question, and examine your responses. You're going to see patterns, okay? There might be several no answers in the financial section, or there might be a lot of strengths in operations. So you're going to look at where those patterns, they tell an important story about your program, right? So you always want to acknowledge the areas where your program excels. A lot of yes answers, right? You could have strong enrollment numbers or great parent communication, solid emergency procedures. All right, those are strengths. Those are the foundation for your program's future growth. And then I need you to be honest about the areas that need attention. So maybe you've noticed an inconsistent cash flow, staffing challenges. Well, that would be a big surprise, right? Staffing challenges, or policies that need to be updated. Identifying these areas is the first step towards improving them. All right. We get these results together. What do? They create a clear picture of where your program stands today, and it helps guide your path forward. So whenever you're wondering to yourself, is assessment worth it? Identifying areas is the first step so that we can move forward, right? So that we can improve them. Assessment is always worth it. We want that clear picture of where we are now, and we want that picture of where the direction that we're going in, right? We want that clear path forward. Now, once we've put everything on there, we're getting ready, right? We're doing our assessment and things of that nature there. You have those yes and no answers, as I mentioned. All right, perhaps we saw some patterns, and we're looking for those areas. We're identifying the no responses. become our priority, right? Because if we asked ourselves yes and no questions, and there are areas where there's no's, that's what we're jumping on, right? That's what we're going to be working with there. Look for patterns, though, as we mentioned before. Look for areas in which you're like, wow, all of these things are interrelated and they're all no's for us. We really can be working. Wow, we have an opportunity to work on this, right? So you look for patterns, and you're going to put those in order of priority. You're going to do that honest look and say, where can I make the biggest amount of difference? What is the most urgent for me to address? What is going to give me the greatest impact, right? What is the program going to feel the strongest from? So, strongest results from there. It basically, an assessment, by doing this assessment, it helps you build your priorities, right? Because you realize the order of importance, and we get to form a bit of an action plan, right? We're getting there. So you're going to think about which improvements most benefit your business, right? If there are financial issues, we're going to go for our financial concerns because that can strengthen the entire operation. So we want to think about that. And what I want you to do is really think about these areas that need to be addressed. So um, you could actually address some areas that you can affect immediately, because that's good. That's a win, right? We could look at some things that we can change like that. And then we're in the right mental state, right state to think about areas that need to be, there might be longer term improvements. Maybe there need to be some, it's going to take a little while longer, so we can think about things there. We're always looking for priority, but it doesn't hurt to have some wins. It doesn't hurt to have some wins and to address the things that, a couple of things, give yourself some grace, and don't feel, remember, this is not to make you feel terrible. It's about cementing your future success, right? So I want you to be excited about this there. And you don't fix everything at once. You definitely don't. You look at the critical areas, and then you just move through an improvement plan. All right. And we've got everything. We're doing our analysis. We're really looking, got everything together. What do I do next? Well, now I've got to create an action plan, right? We've done all this work. We've revealed all of these opportunities for ourselves. What do we do? Let's create a clear action plan. Focus on what's most important and what's achievable. We're going to set priority goals. I want you to think of 1 to 3 goals based on your assessment there. Look at the most critical areas for improvement. We'll take that. Don't tackle a gazillion at once, right? Let's make sure that we're approaching our goals that are so that it's sustainable for us, so that we're not burning ourselves out, so that we're not overwhelmed. Okay, I want you to think about that. We take those goals and then we start to set them as SMART goals. And you may be very familiar with SMART goals, right? So SMART goals are basically, and we're going to look at some SMART goals there, but we're looking for things that are specific, measurable, actionable, relatable, realistic, and time sensitive. So we're or time dependent, I should say. Time sensitive is okay there. And that helps us then, when we figure out these goals, we're going to set a realistic timeline to address them and reach those goals. We're going to think about the steps we need to take to get to those goals. And then we're going to think about reviewing our assessments, because what did I say? Wow, you make these changes, and then the next time you do the assessment, you get to see all the improvements, right? You can say, wow, this is really, really worth it. So I want you to set regular progress reviews. I want you to really put times. It can be monthly reviews of financial, do your assessment monthly there, quarterly for major projects. Maybe there are things that you need to check on weekly. So I want you to think of this assessment really. The assessment results in an action plan, and the action plan becomes a living document. It's something that you are continually revisiting, right? You are continually thinking about that. And sometimes you're gonna achieve goals without a doubt. Maybe some new challenges pop up, right? Then we're going to adjust our plan as needed. So it is a living, breathing plan, action plan, what we're doing. Okay, so we've done our assessment, and now we're thinking about that action plan, right? So let's talk about moving from the assessment to action. So we're going to look in a moment at SWOT analysis, okay? Because what is a SWOT analysis? It lets you think about your program's strengths, the essence SWOT, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm going to show you what that looks like if you're not familiar with a SWOT analysis there. It's a comprehensive review, gives you a very clear picture of your program's current position and potential for growth. So SWOT analysis, I want you to think about those as snapshots. You're looking at your business in all sorts of different views there. And when you do your SWOT analysis, after that, we're going to say, okay, we've looked at our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, our threats. We're taking our assessment and helping us conduct this, this analysis there. And then this is going to help us identify which of those goals, because sometimes we get this whole list of actions and goals, and then again, priority. And we had priorities on our assessment, but what are those really the priorities? A SWOT can help make that very, very clear to you. And the SWOT helps you continue that action plan, that detailed roadmap. So it basically, the SWOT, a SWOT analysis, we'll pull it up, right, so that we can just kind of take a look at it there. You're, I'm sure, very, very familiar with it. Strengths and weaknesses are about internal challenges. Strengths and opportunities are the positive. Opportunities and threats are external things, and weaknesses and threats, those are negative. Okay, so I want you to think about that, right? This is a 4-quadrant chart that you can really use for a very nice analysis of what you uncovered through your assessment. All right. And as you go and you list items in each of those categories, right? Once you've done that, you're going to look at and you're going to focus on the most significant factors that impact your program, right? So they're going to guide your planning, right? So we've done this assessment, we get good ideas. Let's also do a SWOT analysis of what we found out in the assessment to help us with the action plan to move forward, right? So this all starts to, as you can see, right, it comes together because it'll guide you in strategic planning. You'll maximize your strengths. You'll address and minimize weaknesses, you'll capitalize on your opportunities, and you'll prepare for potential threats. And just like with our assessment, SWOT analysis aren't a one-time exercise. It's a tool you can use periodically, right? So as you do assessments, as new things pop up, think about doing SWOT analysis and think about doing this with your staff. I don't know why my computer's jumping over there. I apologize. Think about doing that SWOT analysis with your staff, because it's a good group of activity, really, to be honest with you. So they want to be involved on there. Well, we've done the assessment. We've done our SWOT. What are we going to do? We're going to put we're coming into an action plan. We're going to basically create concrete actions. We wanted to have manageable steps, right? What did I say? We're going to look for clear priorities, because success comes from focusing your efforts where they're going to have the greatest impact. We said we're not going to address everything at once. That's not going to work there. This assessment and the SWOT is going to give you the guidance, right, that help you determine what will most benefit your program. We talked about having SMART objectives, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. We want to think about that. For the priorities, these are objectives that we want to set. In order to reach a goal, we need to think about SMART objectives, right? We want to do that there. And then what you really want to do is think about the resources that you have at hand, right? You have resources that you probably haven't thought about in a while, right? But your staff has expertise and talents. You have equipment and materials. You have systems and procedures. You have available space and facilities, all sorts of things that are available to you, right? To basically be able to put all of your plans into action. You have resources. Then you have things, that DECAL is providing, all sorts of other resources that can help you there. And then start to think about, like with DECAL, professional development, right? Things to help you develop your staff. Maybe you make investments in new technology, you enhance your facility, you form partnerships. Okay, so I want you to think about this because this analysis, I should say, assessment of your business, it's the roadmap for improvement. Your program has very unique needs, and through this whole process, that's how you're identifying them. You're taking a really systematic approach, and how exciting, right? Because now you're better positioned to create lasting positive change in your program. This is by attending tonight, lasting positive change. You're going to basically you're going to blow the competition out of the water. They're not doing this there. So when we talk about the action plan, this is just let's just revisit for a moment, right? What the action plan looks like. We list our goals, we prioritize our goals, we set a time frame, we see what do we need to do, what are the necessary tasks to reach that goal. Define those tasks if you're not sure so that you can achieve the results. Organize them in the order of completion. Milestones, when we hit this, when we hit this, when we hit this, and then you've assigned a time frame, and I want you to complete those tasks within that allotted time frame whenever you possibly can. There, what helps you? How do we ensure with all of this? How do we ensure the long-term success? Well, I want you to think about check-ins. Could be weekly check-ins. You're going to have regular process reviews. You're going to be measuring. Think about the adaptability, the adaptability that your business has to have to make this all come together. Gather knowledge, right? You've got your assessment, gather all sorts of resources that you have, and then think about those future assessments, right? What are we going to do there? I want you to think about technology. So we're going to look at a slide that has a link to the small group studies that DECAL is currently offering, and they have a wonderful track on technology, as well as we have a cyber technology webinar coming up in January, on January 9th. So I want you to think about technology and all the different ways that technology can help you. And then, your business assessment isn't just that snapshot. The snapshot is important, but you started now to create a tool that builds on your program's future, right? So we've got a solid foundation for the next steps. And what a better time for you to be taking this, right? We're wrapping up the year. We can think about the new year with a clear head. We can start to form our plans. We do our assessment, and we think about everything we can achieve in 2025, right? You'll understand your current strengths. You'll understand your opportunities. You'll just, challenges aren't going to be roadblocks. They're just going to be something that you're going to address, right? You're going to address it with a clear mind. You're going to address it with an action plan, right? You're going to make improvements where you can have the greatest impacts. And that assessment is going to be your baseline, right? So as you make these challenges, as you, I should say, implement the changes, face the challenges, you're going to grow your program. And then you can keep coming back to this and measure your progress. It's a great feeling, right? When you can measure your progress there. And each improvement strengthens your program's resiliency and prepares you for future success. So, I want you to just keep in mind that, and you know it, but sometimes we need to remind ourselves that running your childcare business, it's a journey of continuous improvement. Sometimes it's exhausting, but it is a journey of continuous improvement. And your assessments that you do now, right, they're going to be the first step towards building that stronger, more resilient business going into the future. By coming here tonight and listening to this, considering this, spending the time to think about it, you've made a commitment to assessment, and it shows that you're on the path to greater success. You're in the right direction. You're doing things. Look around. There aren't a heck of a lot of people here with us tonight. So there aren't a lot of business owners really embracing the assessment process and thinking about that. So your commitment to be here tonight and to think about this, you're on a path to greater success. I'd love for you to take what you've learned tonight and create your own action plan. All right, move forward. You can do it. You know it all now. Now you know how to do it, right? Maybe you always knew how to do it and you just needed a reminder, but now you have everything that you need to go forward with the assessment. So I want to thank you all for putting up with me. We're going to see if there are any questions or anything anyone would like to share. But I'm just going to jump ahead so that you have the opportunity to see this because we're coming up on 7 o'clock. But here is the QR code and the links will be in the chat. These are the small group studies I was talking about. We have all of these topics. They're 4 one-hour sessions. If you haven't attended, you do get training hours. You are eligible for a stipend of $150 every time that you complete the track, all 4 sessions. Look at these topics. So we have one that'll teach you even more about assessing your business. So many good things here that you can participate in, learn about. You're here tonight because I know that you're learners. Take advantage of these. And then what I also would love for you to take advantage of are one-on-one business coaching. So every topic that we offer those small group studies that usually are about 10 providers group, you go through these 4 one-hour sessions. Every one of those topics also has one-on-one 30-minute free coaching where you work with a coach, you do a very 30-minute phone call. I would love to speak to any of you about assessing your business. If you want to run some things by me or ideas for assessing your business, or there's something that we talked about and you'd like some more information on, you'd like me to kind of walk you through your assessment, I would love to do it. We also have tax preparation. Look at everything that's there, right? Tons of one-on-one coaching available to you. So it's your chance to take deep dives into the issues. I'm a huge fan of the small study groups. I'm a huge fan of the one-on-one coaching. So, Margaret, do we have any questions in the chat?
We just had a request to go back to the SWOT analysis slide.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it. Hold on, let me just get there. So any question, you can come off of mute if you like. Any particular question about SWOT analysis? If anybody has, but you have a chance to take a look at this. It is something that if you Google SWOT analysis, so after you leave here, or if you don't have a chance to view the recording that's going to be up on the Civitas Strategies YouTube page, Google SWOT analysis, you're going to find so much. There's so much information, but I want you to think about, right? Internal, those are our strengths and our weaknesses. External, our opportunities and our threats. Strengths and opportunities, we know are positives. Weaknesses and threats, we know are negatives, right? And you think about this and you go through and you list each of them, put it on a whiteboard, put that up on a whiteboard, get the staff together, think about your strengths and where are our weaknesses? Wow, here are things that we have the opportunity to grow. Well, here are some threats that we may have. So I'd like you to think about those things. Anything else, Margaret?
That was just lots of people saying thank you for the information and wondering about where they can revisit this. So a recording will be made available. I've put the link in the chat for the Thriving Childcare Business Academy site, and a recording of this will be made available there.
That's great. Do we also put it on our YouTube channel, or did I make a mistake? I'm sorry.
No, that's correct. They'll be in both places. Yes.
Oh, great, great. So you'll be able to go to either place to see the recording. So I want to make sure everybody, Margaret told you, put your name and your PDS number, please, in the chat so that you can get credit. And we look forward to seeing you. We're back together January 19th for the cyber technology webinar. We love that. Please, please, please keep us in mind for the small group studies and the one-on-one coaching, because there's a lot to be had from those topics there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Wanda.
Really appreciate this class, and I just want to say I've taken one small group so far, and I absolutely loved it and look forward to taking some more. So thank you, guys.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you so much for that. So I always feel like everybody can benefit, right, from small study groups. It's nice to be together with your peers, and the coaches on our team are absolutely excellent. We have anything else? We are at 7 o'clock, so of course you feel free to jump off. You will be receiving your certificates. Margaret helps us put that all together with our administrative team, so feel free to jump off, but I'd like to thank Magda, our interpreter, for being here with us this evening, and Margaret for helping me as always, because I'm lost without her. I don't know what to do, but so it's a pleasure to see everybody. I wish you all very, very happy holidays. We're almost there. I know some of your programs may be closed. I hope that you have a chance to rest, if not, and enjoy the holidays with your family and friends.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Got so much from it.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Everybody take care. Magda, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful